Have you ever felt like life was a constant roller coaster, full of highs, lows, and unexpected twists? Maybe you've experienced moments of clarity and peace, only to find yourself plunged into chaos again. What if I told you that these cycles, the chaos, the bliss, the darkness, and the eventual grounding, are all part of a spiritual journey designed to align you with your true purpose? In this video, we're going to take a deep dive into the 5 powerful stages of spiritual awakening that every soul goes through. Whether you realize it or not, these stages can shake you to your core, but ultimately, they lead you to a life filled with deeper meaning, alignment, and purpose. So, if you've ever wondered why life feels like a constant ebb and flow, or if you're in the middle of your own awakening journey, this video is for you. Stage 1. Chaos. The first awakening. The first stage of spiritual awakening often begins with chaos, a sudden and jarring event that forces you to face the underlying fragility of your life. This chaos can manifest in a variety of forms: an unexpected breakup, a career downfall, a health crisis, or a personal loss. These events, while deeply unsettling, act as a catalyst for spiritual growth, shaking the foundation of your identity and worldview. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, sends these disruptions as a wake-up call, urging you to question everything you thought you knew about yourself and your existence. For some, this awakening hits like a lightning bolt, a sudden and dramatic revelation that everything they once believed is now in question. For others, it may unfold more slowly, a creeping realization that something is off, that life has been leading them down a path that no longer serves them. Both of these experiences are valid, and both serve as important stages in the spiritual journey. The illusion of control. The chaos that defines this stage is not merely external, it's also internal. The events that unfold often highlight the illusion of control that the ego believes it possesses. Take, for instance, the life of someone like Steve Jobs, the co-founder of Apple. In the early stages of his career, Jobs was synonymous with control and success. He built Apple into one of the most valuable companies in the world, seemingly steering his life and business with the precision of a master craftsman. But in the early 1980s, Jobs was ousted from the very company he founded. The loss was not just a career setback, it was a profound disruption to his sense of self. This moment of chaos, however, turned out to be a blessing in disguise. Jobs went on a spiritual journey during his time away from Apple, traveling to India and exploring Eastern philosophies, including Buddhist teachings. It was in this space of turmoil that Jobs found a new perspective on life, one that emphasized creativity, mindfulness, and the relinquishing of control. Through chaos, he came to understand that the ego does not truly control life. Life flows through us, and the more we let go of our attachment to outcomes, the more we open ourselves to deeper insights and opportunities. Jobs' awakening mirrors the experiences of many who find themselves at the mercy of life's unexpected twists. The chaos you experience at this stage can feel like a slap in the face, but it is exactly what you need to awaken from the illusion of control. The external chaos forces you to face the internal chaos within. It is in this space of uncertainty that the seeds of spiritual awakening are often planted. The question of purpose. During this stage, one may begin to ask existential questions, questions that shake the core of one's identity. Is this all there is to life? What is my true purpose? These are not just passing thoughts, they are profound calls to action, invitations to go deeper into the mystery of life. When these questions arise, they mark the beginning of spiritual evolution. The soul is no longer content to live in the surface-level reality of daily routines and distractions. It demands more depth, more meaning, more connection. Consider the story of Oprah Winfrey, a global media mogul who has built an empire on the foundation of spirituality and personal development. For many years, Oprah lived a life of success, wealth, and influence. But it wasn't until she went through her own crisis, facing the challenges of childhood trauma, self-doubt, and the pressures of fame, that she began to question the very essence of her life. In interviews, she's spoken about the moment she realized that her material success, while satisfying in the short term, did not provide her with the lasting sense of fulfillment she craved. This realization prompted Oprah to embrace deeper spiritual exploration. She immersed herself in the study of religion, philosophy, and personal growth, eventually becoming a powerful advocate for self-awareness and spiritual well-being. Her journey from chaos to clarity was not easy, but it led to her becoming a guiding light for millions of people seeking to understand their own purpose. The stage of chaos forces you to ask these big questions. You may feel lost or unsure, but trust that this is part of the process. These questions, while they may seem overwhelming, are actually the universe's way of guiding you towards something greater. They point you toward the truth that lies beyond your current understanding. The more you engage with them, the more you start to uncover the deeper layers of your consciousness. The pain of awakening. Spiritual awakening through chaos can be incredibly painful. It can feel like being torn apart, as the life you thought you had is stripped away piece by piece. But, like the phoenix rising from the ashes, this process of destruction is necessary for transformation. The ego, in its desperate attempt to hold on to control, will fight against the changes. But in time, the destruction of the ego's attachments allows for the birth of a new, more authentic version of yourself. A powerful example of this can be found in the life of Nelson Mandela. Mandela spent 27 years in prison, separated from his family, his country, and his role in the political struggle for equality. During this period, he experienced deep inner turmoil. The life he had known was over, and the chaos of incarceration forced him to confront his own beliefs, his identity, and his sense of purpose. It would have been easy for Mandela to succumb to bitterness or hopelessness. Instead, the chaos of his imprisonment became the crucible in which his true strength was forged. He embraced the questions of his life. What is my purpose? How can I serve my people? And emerged from prison as a symbol of resilience and wisdom. His ability to transcend the chaos of his early life was a testament to the transformative power of spiritual awakening. The necessity of chaos. The chaos that defines the first stage of awakening is not a punishment. It is a necessary component of growth. Without this initial disruption, you would remain trapped in the same patterns of thinking, the same limitations imposed by the ego. Chaos creates space for the soul to evolve, for new understandings to take root. It is uncomfortable, yes, but it is also the doorway to transformation. In Buddhism, this stage mirrors the teachings on suffering, dukkha, and impermanence, anicca. The Buddha taught that suffering is an inevitable part of life, and that attachment to the self and to material things causes this suffering. Chaos, while painful, serves as a reminder that everything is transient, including our attachments to our identities and possessions. Through the pain of chaos, we learn to let go, to surrender to the flow of life, and to embrace change as a natural part of the human experience. As you move through this stage of spiritual awakening, remember that it is a process, not a destination. The chaos is not the end of the journey, but the beginning. It's an invitation to shed the old, to confront the ego, and to awaken to a more profound truth about who you are. In time, the chaos will give way to clarity, and you will emerge from it stronger, wiser, and more aligned with your true self. Conclusion. The first stage of spiritual awakening, chaos, is an essential step in the journey towards self-realization. It is through the disruption of your life that you begin to ask the deep, existential questions that lead to spiritual growth. The experience of chaos forces you to confront the illusion of control that the ego holds over your life and opens you up to a deeper, more authentic version of yourself. The stories of people like Steve Jobs, Oprah Winfrey, and Nelson Mandela show us that even in the face of chaos, there is great potential for transformation. Through their experiences, we can see that the pain and confusion that accompany the first stage of awakening are not signs of failure, but signals that we are on the right path. In time, the chaos will clear, and you will find a new sense of purpose, grounded in the wisdom gained through your struggles. Remember, spiritual awakening is not always a smooth process. It can be messy, chaotic, and filled with uncertainty. But trust that the chaos is not here to break you. It is here to help you evolve. Embrace the journey, and know that you are being guided to a deeper understanding of yourself and your place in the world. Stage 2, the bliss stage, a golden light. Following the tumultuous chaos of the initial stage of spiritual awakening, many individuals find themselves entering what is often called the bliss stage. This period can feel like a radiant, golden hour for the soul. Everything in the world appears clearer, brighter, and imbued with a new sense of wonder. The trees seem to whisper secrets, the sky appears more vibrant, and the world as a whole feels suffused with an overwhelming sense of love and possibility. It's as if you've stepped into a dream, but it's one where you're wide awake. This blissful phase is one of profound connection. In this stage, you often experience a heightened sense of unity with everything around you. Life itself seems to have a deeper meaning, and everything feels interwoven with a cosmic purpose. You may notice that even mundane experiences, like a simple walk in nature or a conversation with a friend, feel imbued with spiritual significance. It's as if you're seeing the world through a new pair of eyes that are fully attuned to the interconnectedness of all things, a deeper connection to life. In the bliss stage, there is a deep and pervasive sense of connection to everything, to other people, to the natural world, and to the universe as a whole. This feeling often arises after the ego has been shaken in the previous stage, and the individual begins to move away from the belief that they are separate from others. There is an undeniable understanding that all of life is part of a greater, harmonious whole, and that you are an integral part of that whole. Take, for example, the experience of people like the Dalai Lama. His entire life is a testament to the profound peace and joy that comes from embracing this interconnectedness. The Dalai Lama's spiritual awakening was not a singular event, but a lifelong journey of realizing the interconnectedness of all beings. His philosophy emphasizes compassion, mindfulness, and the awareness that every action we take ripples out into the world, affecting the greater whole. While his journey was marked by external challenges, including exile from Tibet and the loss of his country, his spiritual awakening led him to the realization that his true purpose was to serve humanity through compassion and wisdom. This deep sense of connection is not limited to Buddhist teachers or spiritual leaders. It's a universal experience that anyone can access when they enter the bliss stage. Take, for example, the business magnate Richard Branson, known for his adventurous spirit and larger-than-life personality. Branson has often shared how moments of extreme isolation, such as when he was alone on a remote island or taking a break from his hectic business schedule, have allowed him to tap into an overwhelming sense of interconnectedness. In his own words, Branson describes moments when he feels that everything is in perfect alignment, and that he is part of a much larger purpose beyond his own success or personal goals. In these moments, it's as if the boundaries between self and other dissolve, and you begin to experience life from a higher perspective, with greater clarity and understanding. This sense of unity brings a tremendous lightness to the heart, a feeling of joy, peace, and gratitude that floods your being. Everything seems possible, and the world appears to be filled with an abundance of love, heightened intuition, and synchronicity. One of the hallmark features of the bliss stage is the emergence of heightened intuition and synchronicity. Many people report feeling a sense of being guided during this time, as though there is an invisible hand steering them toward their soul's true purpose. Decisions that once seemed difficult or unclear become effortless, and there is an undeniable sense of rightness in the direction your life is taking. You may find that you start encountering synchronicities, seemingly random events that feel deeply meaningful or that seem to align perfectly with your current path. These moments are often described as the universe sending signs, confirming that you are on the right track. For example, you might have been contemplating a life change, and suddenly you meet someone who offers exactly the advice or opportunity you've been searching for. Or you may find that books, articles, or conversations keep cropping up with themes that are deeply relevant to your inner growth. In many ways, these synchronicities feel like the universe is giving you gentle nudges, confirming that you are being guided. For someone like Ellen DeGeneres, the popular talk show host and comedian, synchronicities have played a significant role in her life. Ellen has often spoken about how her career unfolded in ways that seemed almost too perfectly timed to be coincidental. She has referred to these moments as signs from the universe that she was following her true calling. This sense of guidance and alignment has shaped her journey, from her rise to fame to her advocacy for LGBTQ+ rights. Her ability to stay connected to her intuitive sense of purpose has been a central aspect of her success, and it mirrors the experiences of many people during the bliss stage. This increased intuition can also manifest as a stronger connection to your own inner wisdom. During this phase, many individuals find that they are able to make decisions from a place of clarity. As their intuition sharpens, they may experience an increase in psychic abilities or heightened empathy, allowing them to connect with others on a deeper level. For instance, you may find that you are able to sense the emotions of others without them needing to say anything, or you may feel an increased capacity to heal, both emotionally and physically, through your energy. The emergence of spiritual gifts. The bliss stage is also often characterized by the emergence of new spiritual gifts. These gifts are unique to each individual but may include abilities such as deep empathy, the ability to understand others without words, or even physical healing abilities. These gifts are not necessarily supernatural but are expressions of a deeper, more attuned sense of awareness. They arise naturally as the individual becomes more aligned with their true essence in the universe. For example, many well-known spiritual leaders, such as Deepak Chopra, have spoken about how they began to experience heightened sensitivity and a deeper understanding of the human condition as they entered the bliss stage. Chopra, a world-renowned author and teacher of mind-body healing, discovered that his true purpose was to help others heal, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. He frequently talks about how his spiritual gifts became more apparent to him as he deepened his practice and awareness. Like many others, Chopra discovered that the more he allowed himself to open up to the universe, the more the universe revealed itself to him. In a more everyday context, many individuals begin to tap into spiritual gifts without fully understanding where they come from. These gifts often arise during times of deep spiritual connection, and may include abilities such as energy healing, intuitive insight, or a greater capacity for love and compassion. However, it is important to recognize that, like any phase of spiritual awakening, the bliss stage is not permanent. Just as the initial chaos was necessary for awakening, the blissful state serves as a temporary but essential period of healing and alignment. Many people mistakenly believe that once they reach this state of bliss, they have arrived spiritually. They may become attached to the joy, the synchronicity, and the guidance, thinking that this is the end of the journey. The pitfall of attachment. This is where the danger lies. Attachment. In Buddhism, attachment is often identified as a key cause of suffering. The bliss stage can be intoxicating, and it's easy to get caught up in the feelings of joy, gratitude, and connection that arise during this time. However, attachment to these positive states can prevent you from moving forward on your spiritual path. The universe, with its infinite wisdom, has more lessons to offer, and it will not let you remain in this state forever. This is why it's crucial not to become attached to the bliss itself. Just as in the physical world, happiness is fleeting, so too is the bliss of spiritual awakening. As your journey continues, new challenges will arise. The bliss stage is not the final destination. It is simply one chapter in your unfolding story. It is a time to rest, to heal, and to prepare for the deeper stages of your awakening. The transition beyond bliss. After the bliss stage, you may find that the world around you no longer feels as bright or as harmonious as it once did. The intensity of joy and synchronicity may begin to fade, and you may experience a sense of loss or confusion. But this is not a sign that something is wrong. Rather, it signals that you are ready for the next stage of your spiritual evolution. You are being called to go deeper, to move beyond the surface-level bliss and into the more challenging, but ultimately more rewarding, stages of your awakening. Ultimately, the bliss stage is a necessary phase in the spiritual journey. It provides healing, clarity, and connection. But just as the ego must be dismantled in the first stage of awakening, the attachment to bliss must also be surrendered in order for further growth to occur. The key is to embrace the bliss without becoming attached to it. recognizing that it is a temporary yet powerful tool that prepares you for the deeper work ahead. As you transition beyond the bliss stage, remember that you are evolving, and every stage of the journey brings you closer to the truth of who you really are. The bliss will fade, but the wisdom and insights gained will stay with you, propelling you toward even greater levels of spiritual growth and self-awareness. Stage 3. The dark night of the soul, embracing the void. The spiritual journey often reaches a turning point where the bliss of earlier stages fades away, leaving in its place an overwhelming sense of confusion, fear, and loss. This is what is commonly known as the dark night of the soul, a term that refers to a period of profound inner turmoil and existential questioning. It's during this stage that everything seems to fall apart. The clarity of purpose that once seemed so vivid during the blissful phase now appears distant, and you may find yourself questioning the very foundations of your beliefs and your life. In this stage, individuals often feel disconnected from their previous sense of self. The bliss, the heightened intuition, and the sense of divine guidance seem to evaporate, leaving you to grapple with confusion, fear, and doubt. You may find yourself asking, "Who am I?" or "What is my purpose?" The answers that once seemed so clear now elude you. This stage, while painful, is crucial for spiritual growth and transformation. It is the necessary recalibration of the soul, a phase where the individual must shed the old self in order to make room for a new, more authentic version to emerge. The nature of the dark night. The dark night of the soul is not a permanent state, nor is it a punishment. It is an essential part of spiritual growth. The concept of the dark night is rooted in mystical traditions, particularly within Christian mysticism, but its application spans across all spiritual practices. It describes the psychological and emotional suffering that comes when a person is being guided through deep internal transformation. This stage involves confronting deep, often hidden aspects of the self, parts of you that may have been buried under years of conditioning, societal expectations, and personal trauma. It is a stage of integration, where you must reconcile the lessons learned in previous stages, accept the pain, and allow the process to unfold. Consider the lives of influential figures like Steve Jobs, who experienced his own dark night after being ousted from Apple, the company he founded. In the years following his departure, Jobs went through a period of deep self-reflection and personal turmoil. He experienced confusion, anger, and a sense of disillusionment with the world that had once seemed so clear to him. However, it was during this dark period that Jobs began to recalibrate his sense of purpose. He returned to Apple years later, bringing with him a renewed vision and an understanding of what truly mattered. The dark night, for Jobs, was not an end, but rather the painful yet necessary phase that allowed him to emerge stronger and more aligned with his true vision. Similarly, for individuals navigating the dark night of the soul, this period of emotional upheaval and existential crisis can lead to profound insights. While you may feel lost, disillusioned, or disconnected, the soul is in the process of purging old, limiting beliefs and attachments. The darkness that seems overwhelming is merely the space in which transformation occurs. It is not something to avoid, but something to embrace. The role of solitude and reflection. During this phase, many people find themselves retreating inward. You may feel compelled to spend more time in solitude, reflecting deeply on your life, your relationships, and your choices. The isolation, though difficult, serves a crucial purpose. It allows you to step back from the distractions of daily life and face the unresolved parts of yourself. This is a time to confront your fears, your weaknesses, and the false stories you've told yourself about who you are. For some, journaling becomes an essential tool for processing the emotions and insights that arise during this stage. Writing down thoughts, feelings, and revelations can help bring clarity and understanding. The act of putting pen to paper allows the subconscious to surface, revealing truths that may have been hidden under layers of fear and ego. This is a powerful method of self-exploration, and through it, many people discover deep, hidden aspects of their personalities and capabilities. Nature can also play a significant role during the dark night of the soul. Spending time in natural environments can provide a grounding effect, helping to stabilize the overwhelming emotions that may arise. Nature's vastness can put things into perspective, reminding you that life is a cyclical process. The trees lose their leaves in autumn, only to bloom again in the spring. The seasons change, and so do you. This constant renewal of nature can offer hope and healing during your personal period of transformation. Breaking down the ego. At the heart of the dark night of the soul is the process of ego dissolution. The ego, the constructed self, often rooted in societal roles, external validation, and material pursuits, is forced to confront its fragility. You may have thought that your identity was solid and well-defined, but during this stage, the things you once relied on for validation begin to crumble. The relationships you thought would define you may shift, or even end. The career that you thought was your life's purpose may no longer bring fulfillment. The things you once valued may suddenly seem hollow. In the book The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle describes a similar experience of ego dissolution. Tolle recounts his personal journey of profound despair that led him to experience a spiritual awakening. He writes about how, in the darkest moment of his life, he questioned his very existence. I cannot live with myself any longer. In that moment of intense emotional turmoil, he realized that the self he had identified with, his thoughts, his identity, his ego, was separate from the true essence of who he was. This realization led to his spiritual awakening and a deep understanding of the importance of surrendering the ego. The ego's resistance to change is a central aspect of the dark night of the soul. It clings to old patterns, fears, and attachments because it believes that it is the source of safety and identity. However, true spiritual growth requires moving beyond the ego, recognizing that you are not defined by your thoughts, your job, your relationships, or your past. During the dark night, the soul is shedding these attachments, clearing out the emotional clutter, and making room for a deeper, more authentic expression of self, discovering hidden gifts. One of the paradoxes of the dark night of the soul is that, even in the depths of despair, hidden gifts and talents begin to emerge. As the layers of the ego are peeled away, you may discover aspects of yourself that have been buried under years of conditioning. These gifts may not be obvious at first, and they may not come in the form of what society deems as success, but they are there, waiting to be unearthed. Consider someone like Oprah Winfrey, who overcame a tumultuous childhood filled with abuse and neglect to become one of the most influential figures in the world. Her own journey of spiritual awakening included moments of profound self-doubt, pain, and confusion. During her years of personal and professional struggles, Oprah had to confront the limiting beliefs that were holding her back. It was during these difficult periods that she discovered her true calling: to empower others through the power of storytelling and human connection. Oprah's ability to empathize with others and her insight into human nature are the gifts that emerged from her own dark night of the soul. Similarly, many people who have gone through their own periods of darkness find that they emerge with a stronger sense of purpose, a deeper connection to their true self, and an expanded capacity for compassion. These gifts are not necessarily grandiose or immediately visible to the outside world, but they are invaluable in the process of healing and spiritual growth. The pain of transformation. Although the dark night of the soul can be an incredibly painful experience, it is important to recognize that this pain is part of the process of transformation. The emotional and spiritual turmoil that you experience during this stage is akin to the discomfort that occurs when a caterpillar undergoes metamorphosis in its cocoon. The process of breaking down old structures, old identities, and old ways of being is not easy, but it is necessary in order to emerge into a new form. The pain of the dark night is also the pain of surrender. As you face your fears, your limitations, and your past mistakes, you are called to let go of the need for control. You are invited to trust the process and allow the universe to guide you through the darkness. This can be incredibly difficult, especially when the path ahead seems unclear or uncertain. However, it is in this surrender that true spiritual growth occurs. Emerging from the void, eventually, the dark night begins to subside. Though the process is rarely linear, The soul recalibration that occurs during this phase allows you to emerge stronger, more grounded, and more aligned with your true purpose. Just as the phoenix rises from the ashes, you too will rise from the void, having shed the old version of yourself that was holding you back. For those who emerge from the dark night of the soul, life takes on a new meaning. The pain, confusion, and despair give way to a deeper sense of peace and clarity. The gifts that have been uncovered during this process can now be put to use, not for personal gain, but for the benefit of others. You've learned to embrace the void, to sit with discomfort, and to trust that the darkest moments often precede the most profound transformations. As you move forward in your journey, remember that the dark night of the soul is not an end, but a new beginning. It is the process of alchemy, turning lead into gold, and through it, you will find the strength to step into your fullest potential. The soul may pass through many dark nights, but each one will bring you closer to the light of your true self. Stage 4. Groundedness, finding stability. The spiritual path is rarely linear, and it often involves a series of ebbs and flows. After experiencing the emotional turbulence of the dark night of the soul, many people move into the stage of groundedness. This phase marks a significant shift in the journey, where the sense of chaos, confusion, and inner conflict begins to subside. Instead, you begin to find stability and a sense of rootedness in both your life and your spiritual path. The ground you stand on feels firmer, and your connection to your true self becomes clearer. This stage is not about the absence of challenges, but about having the inner resources to face them with a sense of composure, grace, and clarity. Whereas the previous stages may have felt like emotional roller coasters, riding high one moment and crashing down the next, the groundedness stage feels much more like a calm, scenic drive through rolling hills. It is a time of peace and balance, where the intensity of inner struggles has lessened, and you feel more stable in your understanding of who you are and the purpose you are meant to fulfill. This is a phase that many people find incredibly nurturing, as it offers a reprieve from the emotional and spiritual chaos that characterized earlier stages. While life may still present challenges, you are no longer tossed about by them in the same way. You have cultivated the tools and wisdom to navigate through difficulties without losing your center. In this stage, you are learning how to integrate the lessons of the previous stages into your life, creating a solid foundation for further growth. The development of inner stability. Groundedness is often associated with finding inner peace and stability after a period of intense emotional upheaval. It is during this stage that many individuals experience a deeper sense of emotional equilibrium. Unlike the early stages of awakening, where the mind and emotions were volatile and reactive, the grounded person has developed the ability to respond to life's challenges from a place of calm awareness. There is less fear, less doubt, and less need to control outcomes. The ego's grip on your identity begins to loosen, and you begin to recognize that you are not defined by your circumstances or emotions. One of the ways people experience this sense of groundedness is through the practice of mindfulness. Mindfulness, being present in the moment and fully engaged with whatever is happening, becomes an anchor for the soul. When you find yourself grounded, you are no longer living in the past or worrying about the future. Instead, you are able to enjoy the present moment for what it is, without the interference of inner turmoil. This shift allows you to experience life in a new way, more open, more aware, and more aligned with your true purpose. A perfect example of someone who embodies this groundedness is Nelson Mandela. After spending 27 years in prison under apartheid in South Africa, Mandela emerged not only as a global symbol of peace, but as someone whose inner strength and grounded presence could lead a nation through one of the most tumultuous transitions in history. Despite the immense emotional and physical suffering he endured, Mandela found a deep sense of inner stability that allowed him to lead with wisdom, compassion, and grace. His groundedness came from a deep connection to his purpose and his unwavering belief in the importance of forgiveness and unity. This kind of inner stability is something that anyone on the spiritual path can aspire to. Another key component of this groundedness is the ability to embrace both the light and dark aspects of life. The challenges that arise are no longer seen as obstacles, but as opportunities for growth and learning. A grounded individual knows that the pain of the past does not need to define them, and that the future is a space where they can create and manifest their true potential. Clarity of purpose. With groundedness comes clarity. The fog of confusion that clouded your vision during earlier stages begins to lift, and you can see your path more clearly. This newfound clarity is a result of the integration process that took place during the earlier stages. You have shed many of the old, limiting beliefs, and you no longer feel the weight of societal expectations or the need to conform to external pressures. Instead, you begin to embrace what truly matters to you, and your purpose becomes much more defined. At this point, the questions of who am I and what is my purpose that may have plagued you during the earlier stages of your awakening have been answered, at least in part. You have started to recognize your core values, your passions, and the things that bring you true joy. Your sense of self becomes stronger, and you no longer feel like you are living to meet other people's expectations or to fulfill a role that doesn't resonate with you. You begin to feel more aligned with your soul's purpose, and this alignment allows you to live in a way that is authentic and true to who you are. One of the most powerful examples of this clarity of purpose is found in the life of Malala Yousafzai. After surviving an assassination attempt by the Taliban for advocating girls' education in Pakistan, Malala's sense of purpose became even clearer. What could have been a time of immense suffering and despair instead turned into an opportunity for her to further her cause on the global stage. Malala's groundedness in her purpose, fighting for girls' education and equality, has allowed her to become one of the most powerful voices for social change in the world today. Despite the obstacles and dangers she faces, Malala remains unwavering in her commitment to her mission, embodying the stability and clarity that come from being fully aligned with a higher purpose. This stage is often when people experience the deep satisfaction that comes from living authentically and with purpose. The fear of uncertainty that once plagued them no longer holds the same power, and they are able to step forward with confidence in their abilities to meet whatever challenges lie ahead. Shifting relationships and energy frequencies. As you find your own stability and clarity during this stage, your relationships begin to shift as well. You may notice that the people in your life no longer resonate with you in the same way. Some relationships will naturally fall away as you evolve and your energy frequency changes. Those who were once a part of your journey may no longer serve your higher purpose, and as a result, the universe may remove them from your life. This can feel painful, as these people may have been a significant part of your identity in the past, but it is also an act of divine alignment. In the process of awakening, as you become more grounded, you begin to attract individuals who are aligned with your new energy frequency. These are the people who share your values, who resonate with your purpose, and who support your growth. Relationships that were once superficial or draining can evolve into deeper, more meaningful connections. You may find that your circle of friends or colleagues begins to shift, and you find yourself surrounded by people who inspire you, encourage you, and challenge you in positive ways. An example of someone who has experienced this kind of transformation is the famous author and speaker, Tony Robbins. Robbins has spoken extensively about how his relationships evolved as he became more grounded in his own sense of purpose. He has talked about how, over time, he began to attract people who supported his vision of empowering others and creating positive change in the world. As his own energy and purpose grew more aligned, the relationships around him began to reflect that transformation. This is a powerful reminder that as we evolve, the relationships that support our growth and well-being will naturally come into alignment with who we are becoming. The rise of compassion and emotional intelligence. Groundedness also brings with it a heightened sense of emotional intelligence and compassion. As you become more stable and aligned with your purpose, you begin to develop a deeper understanding of others. The emotional turbulence of the earlier stages has subsided, and your ability to empathize with others becomes more pronounced. You are better able to listen, to understand, and to respond with kindness and wisdom. This emotional intelligence allows you to navigate relationships with greater ease. You no longer react impulsively or defensively. Instead, you approach others with an open heart and a willingness to see things from their perspective. The compassion that arises from this state of groundedness is not limited to those you know personally, but extends to all beings. You begin to understand that everyone is on their own unique journey, and you no longer judge others as harshly as you once might have. The integration of the ego and spirit. At this point in the journey, the ego and spirit begin to coexist more harmoniously. You no longer see the ego as something to be discarded or resisted, but rather as a tool to be integrated into your higher self. The ego's need for validation, control, and external success begins to lose its grip on you, and you start to realize that it is simply a part of the human experience. You no longer see yourself as separate from the world or others, but as an interconnected part of the greater whole. This realization brings with it a deep sense of peace and acceptance. This harmonious integration of the ego and spirit allows you to live fully and authentically, without the internal struggle that marked earlier stages of your awakening. You are no longer in conflict with yourself, and as a result, your life becomes more peaceful, balanced, and meaningful. Conclusion: a stable foundation for continued growth. In the groundedness stage, you have created a stable foundation for continued spiritual growth. The emotional chaos of previous stages has been integrated, and you now stand on solid ground, secure in who you are and the path you are walking. This stage does not mark the end of your journey, but rather a period of consolidation, of finding peace, clarity, and alignment with your true self. From here, the next stages of your spiritual journey can unfold, but they will be approached from a place of balance, wisdom, and inner strength. Stage 5. Manifestation, thriving in your purpose. After navigating the turbulent stages of spiritual awakening, you enter a new and powerful phase known as manifestation. This is where all the groundwork you've laid in the previous stages begins to bear fruit. You've emerged from the chaos, bliss, the dark night, and the groundedness. And now you're in a position to create and manifest the life that aligns with your deepest desires and purpose. At this stage, you are operating at a higher frequency. Your energy is vibrating at a different level, and the universe begins to mirror back to you the energy you put out into the world. It's a time of flourishing, thriving, and aligning with your true self in ways that were not possible before. Manifestation is often the final stage in a spiritual awakening process because it reflects the culmination of inner work, the growth, healing, and transformation you've gone through. It's about moving beyond mere survival and stepping into a place where you can truly create, express, and experience the fullness of your being. At this stage, you no longer feel disconnected from your desires. As you have learned to align with your purpose and create from a space of clarity and authenticity, the universe responds to your energy. One of the most significant aspects of manifestation is the realization that the universe responds to the energy you put out. In the early stages of awakening, life may have seemed random or chaotic. You might have been constantly searching for meaning or struggling to find your way. But at this stage, you realize that you are not merely a passive recipient of life circumstances. You are an active participant in the creation of your reality. This realization is similar to the law of attraction, which suggests that like attracts like. When you are vibrating at a higher frequency, one rooted in love, clarity, abundance, and peace, the universe will begin to send you experiences, people, and opportunities that align with that energy. The universe doesn't simply respond to your words or intentions. It responds to your energy, your thoughts, beliefs, emotions, and actions. If you have worked through the earlier stages and come to this point, your energy is now in alignment with your purpose, and this alignment attracts what you need to fulfill that purpose. An excellent example of someone who embodies this principle is Oprah Winfrey. Over the course of her life, Oprah has undergone profound personal growth, facing challenges, overcoming trauma, and ultimately aligning with her purpose. As she began to manifest her true desires, helping others, sharing wisdom, and creating opportunities for personal empowerment, the universe responded by opening doors for her in ways that were beyond what she could have imagined. Oprah's ability to manifest is rooted not only in her actions and decisions, but in the energy she exudes, a deep sense of purpose, generosity, and alignment with her higher calling. This alignment has allowed her to not only thrive in her own life, but also help millions of others do the same, attracting abundance and opportunities. As you enter the manifestation stage, you'll begin to notice that abundance flows more easily into your life. Opportunities that once seemed out of reach begin to materialize, and you find yourself surrounded by people who resonate with your vision and energy. Whether it's in your career, personal life, or creative endeavors, you'll find that doors open where there once were walls. This is the result of aligning with your authentic self and putting out positive, intentional energy into the world. For example, consider Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX. Musk's journey to success wasn't easy, but as he aligned more deeply with his vision for the future of technology and space exploration, the universe seemed to respond. His ability to manifest his purpose and bring ideas to life has been a driving force behind the success of his companies. His belief in the potential of electric vehicles, space travel, and sustainable energy has attracted not only financial success, but also the partnerships, collaborations, and opportunities needed to turn these ideas into reality. Musk didn't just wish for success. He believed in his purpose so deeply that he worked tirelessly to manifest it. And the results speak for themselves. Living in alignment with purpose. At this stage, your life begins to feel like a reflection of your soul's purpose. You are no longer working just for survival or to meet external expectations. Instead, you are fully aligned with what you were put on this earth to do. You are living authentically, and your life becomes an expression of that authenticity. There is no more inner conflict between who you are and who you are trying to be. You have reconciled the ego with the higher self, and you are now in a place where both can coexist harmoniously, guiding you toward your true calling. This phase is marked by an overwhelming sense of peace and fulfillment. It's not just about achieving material success or personal recognition, although those may come as a natural byproduct. It's about knowing that every action you take is in service of something greater than yourself. You are now fully aware of your role in the larger web of life, and as you move through the world, you do so with a sense of purpose that is rooted in love, compassion, and contribution. A striking example of this type of manifestation is the late Steve Jobs. Co-founder of Apple Incorporated. Jobs was deeply committed to his vision of creating technology that would change the world. His belief in his purpose was unwavering, and as he aligned himself with that vision, he manifested the resources, partnerships, and innovations that led to the creation of revolutionary products like the iPhone, iPad, and MacBook. Jobs wasn't just creating products. He was manifesting his vision for the future. He understood that true success comes from a deep alignment with your higher purpose, and that purpose can lead you to extraordinary achievements, giving and thriving. The ripple effect. One of the most beautiful aspects of manifestation is the understanding that your success is not only for your benefit, but for the benefit of others. At this stage, you recognize that by thriving in your purpose, you can help others to thrive as well. This is the concept of the ripple effect, the idea that your actions and energy influence the world around you in profound ways. When you live in alignment with your true purpose, you become a source of inspiration and support for others. Whether through your work, your relationships, or your actions, you are able to uplift others and help them see that they, too, can manifest their own desires. As your energy grows, it begins to radiate outward, creating a positive impact on the people and world around you. This is the essence of abundance, that it is not a zero-sum game, but a cycle of giving and receiving that perpetuates itself. Consider the example of former President Barack Obama. As he became more grounded in his vision for the country and aligned with his purpose, he began to inspire millions of people to believe in the possibility of change. Through his words and actions, he not only achieved his own success, but empowered countless others to take action, to believe in their potential, and to strive for their own personal goals. Obama's leadership was a reflection of the manifestation process. He thrived in his purpose, and in doing so, helped others to thrive as well. Manifesting with intention. Manifestation is not simply about wishing for things to come to you. It requires clear intention and conscious action. You must take responsibility for your own growth and development. This is where the concept of intentional manifestation comes into play. It's about setting clear intentions for what you want to create and then taking the necessary actions to make those intentions a reality. Intentional manifestation is not just about making a vision board or saying affirmations. It's about aligning your thoughts, emotions, actions, and energy with the things you want to bring into your life. When you set a clear intention, whether it's to manifest a new job, a deeper relationship, or financial freedom, you are not just wishing for it. You are actively taking steps to make it happen. You are creating from a place of confidence, clarity, and purpose. Take, for example, the career of Serena Williams. She is known not only for her athletic achievements, but for her mindset and determination. Serena has often spoken about the power of setting intentional goals and working tirelessly toward them. Her success in tennis was not a result of mere chance. It was the manifestation of her deep commitment to her purpose and her belief in her abilities. Williams didn't simply hope to succeed. She worked with intention, visualized her success, and took concrete steps toward achieving her dreams, demonstrating the power of manifestation through intention. Conclusion: becoming the creator of your life. In the manifestation stage, you are no longer just reacting to life's circumstances. You are actively creating and shaping your reality. You've learned to operate at a higher frequency, one that aligns with your true self. And as a result, the universe reflects that alignment back to you. You begin to attract the people, opportunities, and experiences that resonate with your purpose. You are no longer in a state of struggle or survival. You are thriving in alignment with your soul's true calling. As you continue to manifest your desires, remember that the key is not just about getting what you want. It's about giving back and contributing to the greater good. The energy you put out into the world is powerful, and as you thrive, so too do those around you. Manifestation is not just about personal success. It's about becoming part of a larger, interconnected web of life, where each individual's success creates a ripple effect that helps others thrive as well. As you reflect on these 5 stages, it's important to remember that spiritual awakening is not a linear path. It's a journey of ebb and flow, of chaos and calm, of growth and transformation. Each stage builds upon the previous one, leading you to a deeper understanding of yourself and the universe. Whether you are in the midst of chaos, experiencing bliss, struggling through the dark night, or finally stepping into your purpose, trust that each stage serves a higher purpose. If you found this video helpful and insightful, don't forget to hit that like button, share it with those who might benefit from this message, and leave a comment with your thoughts or personal experiences. I'd love to hear from you. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to Charles Mindful Nexus for more content like this. Let's continue this journey together. Remember, the path to awakening is an adventure, and you are not alone.